Hey, loser.
You're a loser.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian. You are watching DC Unleashed, and I am joined today with my awesome partner in crime, my brother, literally from another mother.
His wingman, home slice, brother from another mother.
Shane, how you doing today, bro?
Good, man. How are you doing? What a great day to be a Superman fan.
Hey, man, it is. I'm a little tired. I'm a little wired. It's going to be, like usual, a stream of consciousness. That's the way we're going to roll. That's the way we've always rolled.
How we roll.
We just talk about what we like, what we didn't like, whatever. Totally spoiler free. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right this moment, that little blinking red light, if you see that and you don't want to be spoiled, stop. I beg of you, stop. Come back later. I'm not saying it. Shane's not saying it.
I don't see it.
It was added in post-production by future Brian, who's a little bit of a dick,
You're a loser.
if I'm being honest.
He is, by the way.
You see that blinking light, the light you're seeing right now, you need to stop.
Get out of here!
Because we're going to be talking, at that moment, those are spoilers. A little background on us. Maybe you're new to this channel. Yes, we have other channels. We've been here in a while. We also both love DC. We love Superman. It's really important to note something, that we aren't just a couple old guys that that go to the movies and then come and put a camera on and talk. We're actually extremely well versed in the lore of Superman. Not just the comics lore, but like the actual real life lore. How it was started, who created it, why, and all the various creatives that have gotten their hands on this character and gave us their sometimes wild interpretations. We are extremely well versed in the topic. We've literally made documentaries recently about this. And I gotta say, Shane actually wrote the book on the topic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Super sweaty.
So we know what we're talking about. The movie starts in like the literal middle of the action. So other reviewers and critics have said that the movie feels like you opening up a comic to like the middle of a comic and just reading the story. Yeah, it sort of does.
But they do give you, I mean, they tell you what's happening.
But they tell you what's
It
happening.
starts with 30 years ago, then it goes to
300 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, 200, yeah.
Which I thought was clever. And I liked it. I liked that. I don't want any more origin stories. Shane, do you want to see the 40th version of his origin story?
I don't need to see it, but I will say, for the argument's sake, for my kids, they haven't seen it. So, I mean, I will say this generation's Superman won't have an origin story, which is kind of weird. I personally don't need to see it. I'm a 50-year-old man. But yeah, my kids who love the movie, they do not know the origin of Superman. In fact, I guess we'll get into the spoiler later, but I'm not so happy with this origin.
We get to meet Lex Luthor really quickly. So I think we should talk about the characters in their order of appearance.
Okay.
And what we thought of the actors that played them, the writing, how those characters play without any spoilers. Then we'll talk about spoilers in a few minutes. So speaking of, we get Lex Luthor really quickly, played by Nicholas Hoult. Shane, what did you think about Lex and Nicholas Hoult?
I thought Nicholas Hoult, he's a great actor, number one. And I thought he really captured the comic version of Lex Luthor. I thought that he definitely displayed like this incredible intelligence. Like I feel like he really morphed into the comic book version of the character, and you know, he looked like him. I thought it was really
right.
I thought he was a good Lex Luthor.
His business is geared, it's tuned to deal with Superman.
As you'll learn, he spent a good period of time studying him,
Right.
And he's kind of attuned his entire organization to that. But what I thought was interesting is you do get not just Lex Luthor, but you do get his organization, which is something we've never seen before. He's always him plus a couple of henchmen and
right.
Eve Teschmacher.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you usually get. In this movie, you get LexCorp.
And right. and these people have bought off. Like they
are on board.
They're on board. They follow Lex Luthor. Like that's their leader. They not only follow him, but they agree with him. They are excited.
And in the beginning, I was actually a little disoriented. I didn't quite understand what was going on. It like took a second to figure out what the heck is going on here right now. Like it was so different than I think what I expected it to be. And, you know, Lex is absolutely 100% in charge of everything that's happening. And I thought He really, just really great embodiment. I mean, I expected him to be good. The guy's good. I was pleasantly surprised.
It felt that way because James Gunn wanted the movie to start in a universe, in a world that was already lived in.
I think he accomplished that. The one negative I would say to that is there was 20 to 30 minutes it took to get oriented.
Right.
So it feels more, I would say it almost feels more like an episode of TV than it does a movie. And I found myself thinking, well, this could really be a TV season.
But you didn't get the last time on Lois and Clark.
But I guess you could have almost, because he's had many adventures. He's already had a lot of things happen when you get into this movie.
The way they accomplish it is actually super clever, I think, because they want in order to get oriented, you got to pay attention. And they don't do it with large exposition dumps where it's one person like, remember that one time, Clark, where you did this, met this person. No, it's almost like through natural conversation, you're watching these lives of these people as they're operating in their world. And through their natural conversation, you have to pick up clues as to where you're at in the story.
Yes, for the most part. They do, when they do get to like an interview scene between him and Lois, it does drop in heavily into conversation. And there is kind of it's done via a interview setting, but you can tell that it is a dump, an information dump.
Yeah, a little bit of a dump. I loved the interview. I thought I was not going to like it, but I actually liked it a lot. And I found myself caring about this Superman, David Corenswet Superman. So let's talk about Superman. We talk about Lex. Superman, this version of Superman is very close, in my opinion, to a modern day Christopher Reeve. He has the same charm. He has the same heart. He cares. You can tell he cares about the people that he interacts with. And for the most part, they care about him. You believe, watching this Superman, that Superman is a good person. Not a self-righteous person. Not a troubled person. Not a stoic person. This is a person who loves humans. He loves the people he interacts with. He loves being Clark Kent. And he likes being good. We get to a scene where the Justice Gang, the pending name, that name is a pending name, pending trademark. The way they handle a problem is sort of callous. And Superman is like, guys, okay, like, what? We didn't have to do that. Like, we could do this, like, a better way. Throwing it out there, guys, can we do it? Can we do this in a way that's more humane? I don't know. And this is the same Superman that takes time to save rodents that he sees are struggling.
Oh, the squirrel, yeah.
I find it weird that people that oppose this movie see the squirrel moment and they go, huh, that's not my Superman. Can I argue that is our Superman? What are you talking about?
Well, it depends on if their Superman is Henry Cavill, then you're right. It's not their Superman. If their Superman is Christopher Reeve, then it is their Superman because he would save a cat out of a tree.
Why are you trying to die on the hill on whether or not the squirrel lives or dies? It's weird.
I think most people are dying on that hill because they want to. I think there's a lot of people going into this movie who just don't want to like it. Is still frustrated about what's happened to Cavill. And I get it. It's hard to move on. Took me a while to enjoy Henry Cavill's, for what he is, for what he's worth. Took me a while to get off, I was a Christopher Reeve guy.
Right.
So it takes time. But I think you're right. I think Corenswet does embody a little bit more. But to be fair, he's really the only other Superman besides Cavill to play that role, because Ralph was Christopher Reeve Superman.
Right. He was playing Christopher Reeve. Right.
Outside of the TV shows, he's really the only other guy. So, and let me tell you, it would be impossible not to be closer to Christopher Reeve than to Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill is very serious, very, very stoic, troubled Superman. So anybody else is going to be closer to
That's true. This movie is a 180. If Man of Steel lives in Los Angeles, then this movie lives in Australia. They share a name, they share a mission, they share morality, but they are polar opposites. If you're like, I love the Man of Steel and Snyder movies, and that's what I want this movie to be, well, it's just not.
Oh yeah, no, you're not.
Not at all.
Yeah, if you're looking for serious Superman, this is definitely not serious Superman. There's got moments of there's moments of consequence and there's moments of seriousness, but this is a light. This has an MCU feel to it, and that makes sense because James Gunn came from there.
Right. Superman somehow feels in this movie like the other characters feel more like MCU characters, but Superman somehow feels bigger than. And it's not just because I love the character, but the way they portray him is more. I've never seen a character like this Superman in the MCU. Like I can't compare a character. Every MCU character is like this super flawed person that's, like. And if there was a way, if there was a character I could point him to, maybe Steve Rogers, that very first year.
Yes,
similar.
I would say
before he got his powers, like Steve Rogers without his powers, when he's scrawny.
The first that Captain America movie for sure. I could see that.
That's the closest comparison you can make.
But even he's not that serious. I would say even it's even a little lighter than it's lighter than that.
It's lighter, yeah. David Corenswet pulls it off. He does a very good job.
I couldn't stop watching it, and I'm telling you, there's something to this. And if I ever get a chance to talk to James Gunn about it, I'm going to ask him if he cast David Corenswet because he looks like a young Nathan Fillion. Because I'm telling you right now, if you pull up Firefly and you put it next to David Corenswet and you look at the two men,
right,
it's like looking at brothers or twins,
or father son. Right.
And I know Gunn has an obsession with Nathan Fillion, who's also in this movie. So.
Yeah. Gunn does love Nathan. Like that's his favorite actor for sure.
You could see it.
But David Corenswet did really good.
He looks the role. He looks the part.
He looks the part.
It's not too big for him. It's definitely a different take. There are some things in Superman that I had never seen before in this one. A show of weakness I had never seen before. The only time
but also restraint too, though.
Well, restraint, but
well, there's a moment where the world is violently like okay, there's a reason I can't have powers. If you gave me heat vision and invulnerability, it gets to a point where I wouldn't let anyone remotely offend me without just snapping their heads off.
But you didn't have 30 years of practice.
That's true. But like if you gave me those powers, then eventually I would just be a villain. I would take over, and I would let no one talk to me in any way that was disrespectful. I would just be blowing heads up.
Maybe. But
I don't think I'd be a good god. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, so in Christopher Reeve's Superman, the only time you ever see Superman vulnerable is when he loses his powers in Superman 2. So this is the only time he's ever vulnerable. I mean, no, that's not true. When he gets the kryptonite around his neck, right, in Lex Luthor's lair.
Tessmacher has to save him.
Yeah, he is. You do see vulnerability there. That shocked me a little bit in this movie because, like, Superman's really hurt in this movie.
Yeah, like emotion. Yeah, but physically at the beginning.
Right? Physically.
Right.
Physically hurt.
Right.
And then a little bit emotionally.
Right. Yeah, and they choose to start the movie with him hurt right away.
Yes, which was... I can see. Okay, I'm like, okay, you got my attention.
Like immediately, the stakes are high because I think everyone knows that Superman is the strongest hero. They've established that for a long, long time. But more importantly, they do establish that in the very beginning of this movie with that text on screen. They go, the time when there was metahumans, and the strongest of them is this guy, and they tell you this is the strongest character in this universe, and then they show that character beat to hell.
All right, we got to get to spoilers, so let's move this thing along because to the point now where we got to get some spoilers in. I'm feeling.
Okay, let's get to the characters. All right, so we talked about David. David's great. He does a great job. Okay, so let's talk about his counterpart, Lois Lane.
Got to tell you, man, she is channeling some Margot Kidder. In fact, at some points, her voice, like, literally cracks in the same way that Margot's would crack as Lois Lane. She's got almost the pitch. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if that's just James Gunn saw it and grabbed her, but she embodies, like, she may be outside of Margot. She definitely is, not maybe. She is the best Lois Lane since Margot Kidder for sure. And, We'll see. She might even be better than the original.
She might be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like she just channels, and it's so perfectly done. She is a very good Lois Lane. She's super strong, and she's a good counterweight to Superman.
Yeah.
But she's not so strong that it's grating. You don't see her strength as bitchiness. You know, you see it as
Right.
personal strength, intelligence. She is both feminine and in charge. She's a very good character. This is the best interpretation of the version of Lois Lane that I grew up watching comic books. The character I had a crush on when I was 7 years old.
If there's one small failure, I think, with her character, it's that she never really needs Superman in this movie. And I think there needed to be a moment where that needed to occur. So she's so strong that she never truly needs him.
Yeah, but she does need Mr. Terrific.
That's not the same thing. And we live in a time where people are very scared to have men save women.
Right.
There's a fear to show that on screen these days. And I got to give it to Gunn. He gives us the things that most movie makers wouldn't give us. We get high heels and cleavage in this movie. That
Right.
almost never happens. And he did it.
Bro, the women in this movie, they look like women.
Are sexy. They look like
They're
women.
they're beautiful, beautiful women. And they
Yeah,
hold
so-
themselves in a way that's elegant. Like they're elegant and feminine.
Right.
Oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed.
I would have liked to see Lois with a moment of weakness. And so I will say that, you know, when he does another movie, he's going to do another movie. He's going to have that moment in there somewhere.
Okay, so let's talk about Jimmy. Jimmy Olsen, rizzed up Jimmy. This is the best version of Jimmy I've seen, and I've seen.
No.
Let me tell you, I've seen every version of Jimmy.
sorry.
From Jimmy in the 50s, Jimmy in the 70s, Jimmy in the 90s with Dean Cain, Jimmy in the 2000s with Smallville. I've seen every version of Jimmy Olsen there is. The worst version, by far, I'm sorry, is Batman versus Superman Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy is not a CIA agent. I'm never gonna buy that.
Mark McClure is I'm sorry. He's going to be my Jimmy Olsen forever. And I will say,
It's fine.
I enjoyed their little interesting take on Jimmy Olsen in this movie, which was different.
I like that, like, him and Clark are obviously friends, and they have this like rapport with each other where they're like bros at work, and
That's not the way I think those characters operate. So it feels a little off to me. Like Jimmy is.
But you didn't watch 255 episodes of Smallville, or
That's what. Well, Smallville is not in any way, shape, or form either the comic books or the movie universe characters.
So growing up reading the comics, watching Lois and Clark, watching Smallville, I got a lot more Jimmy Olsen than the couple movies you got in the 70s, in the 80s.
Right.
So when I look at Jimmy Olsen, you're getting a very surface level character, I think, with that version, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I have a version in my head of Jimmy Olsen that is a version that comes from comics, Lois and Clark.
The comic version of Jimmy Olsen is not an equal to Clark.
No, not an equal, but he's
an equal in this movie.
But he is an important character, and he's important to the Daily Planet. And that's one thing I love about this. The Daily Planet in this movie is a character of its own.
Sort of, yeah. And also, you got to remember, he's a photographer. In this, he's a journalist. So they've changed him. They've upgraded Jimmy Olsen in. I won't even give you the spoiler because the spoiler is too much fun.
It's too much fun.
We'll wait for the spoiler to tell you. But Jimmy gets an upgrade in a different way as well.
Yeah. He's a rizzed up Jimmy. I did enjoy it. I like this version of Jimmy. I think in a modern world, I don't think Jimmy can be a photographer anymore. I don't think that is necessary in 2025. It's still a job, but there needs to be more to it. I think making him a journalist is good. And I like the way he's portrayed. I like that actor. I think he's fun.
Skylar Gisondo. Yeah. He was been in a few things. He was at Night of the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. He was in the Vacation movie. He's been in a few things.
He was great in the Vacation movie.
To look at.
He's the brother that is constantly harassed by his younger brother.
Yes. Yeah.
Other characters of consequence here. Let's go to the Justice Gang, starting with Mr. Terrific. I think Mr. Terrific was terrific.
He was phenomenal. In fact, his name's Edie Gathegi, and I've never seen him before. And I was entranced because he reminds me of, what's the best way to put this? If you've ever seen the movie
I know what you're going to
Tropic
say.
Thunder, he looks and sounds just like Robert Downey Jr. as a black man. And he looks like Robert Downey Jr.
Because Robert Downey Jr. was playing blaxploitation character, and this is very much an homage to blaxploitation.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, like, I had to look really hard to make sure that wasn't Robert Downey Jr. at first. And I just got to tell you, I really liked, of all the Justice Gang, this guy was my favorite. And he just really compelled me. I had to go back because the character has been in a few different things, Legends of Tomorrow and a few different things, but usually a very small bit character. He really played a pretty significant role in this movie.
Yeah, my introduction to this actor was actually in a show called Blacklist with James Spader. One of my favorite shows, and partially because of this actor. This actor played an antagonist of sorts. He is a scary antagonist that you hate because he's so calculated, so good at his job. And it gets to the point where that hate becomes almost an admiration, where you start to like the character because he's so good at being a bad guy. And then eventually being a good guy, because he's not a guy in that show that is good for moral reasons or bad for moral reasons. He is all about who's paying him. So if you're paying him to be a good guy, then he'll be the good guy. I really like this character a lot. I do believe that we're going to get some Mr. Terrific standalone movies. A lot of people are coming away from this movie with the same consensus that this character is really fun and they want to see more.
He was the best of the three, even though I love Nathan Fillion. I'm not sure I enjoyed Nathan Fillion's take on that character.
All right, well, let's talk about Nathan Fillion. Yeah, I think he's the best of the three. We also got the most of him, to be honest.
That's fair.
I did very much like Nathan Fillion's take because he was playing the character. Guy Gardner is that's if you put Guy Gardner from the page to the screen, that's what we got.
It's very unlikable.
Very unlikable character, right?
Very unlikable Green Lantern, that's all I'll say.
And to be honest, though, he is the most unlikable Green Lantern there is. He's playing the job. Like, that's the job of the character. He's sort of a mercenary Green Lantern that's very selfish, sort of on, but not a bad guy, but also extremely self-involved.
He's just narcissistic.
Let's talk about Hawk Girl. If I had a criticism, it wasn't the actors that played Hawk Girl. She did fine, Isabel Merced, but the character doesn't seem important.
I think she was, and I don't know how to put this because Isabella Merced is Dora, right?
Yeah, she's Dora the Explorer.
She's just too small in stature for the role.
She's a very small person.
She's just too small of a person. She didn't feel like a commanding superhero. She came across as a little kid,
Now that can work though. You've seen Kick-Ass. It works.
But that
9-year-old scary.
That was intentional.
Right.
And Kick-Ass is not a very traditional superhero.
That's true.
Movie. I think if you're playing Hawk Girl, you got to kind of have enough, you got to have some gravitas. You know what I mean?
Right. Maybe they're writing her the way they wrote her in the early comics, where it's less about how skilled she is and more about how sort of nuts she is because she's been reincarnated 45,000 times.
If that's the case, they did not get that across to us.
Right. Well, there's no origin stories.
Even from her communication, I didn't get that from her. She was quippy, witty, a little sarcastic,
There was a little bit of the crazy Hawk Girl when she was going through the hallways.
Yeah.
Because there's a big spoiler there that I personally liked, but I think some people might have a problem with it. Overall, Shane, how would you rank this movie out of 10?
Out of 10. Okay, let me give it to you on this scale. It's the best movie of the year so far.
Sure.
It's been a weak movie year. That said, but it's an enjoyable movie. And if I were ranking it against, say, last year's movies, should we do that? Yeah, if you're looking at 2024 movies here, I'm going to go, you got Deadpool and Wolverine. and I'm going to put it underneath that one.
Yeah, I am actually going to put it above Deadpool and Wolverine because I think Deadpool and Wolverine was too member berries. Required too much homework to really love that movie. And
Yeah,
listen, and as the guy who loves homework when it comes to movies and TV, I normally don't have a problem with that. But if you didn't know who Elektra was, or if you didn't watch Logan, if you know,
I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, dude, when Blade comes in, if you don't know who Blade is, then that moment with the music doesn't matter to you.
No, but I think overall, just going with the jokes and how it made me feel and how much I laughed. And I did, by the way, there's moments in this movie where I laughed and I got the jokes and there's some things in there and it made me feel good. But I would put that feeling just under the Deadpool and Wolverine for me. And I would say, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. I would put it just right above Deadpool. Because my kids can't watch Deadpool, unfortunately. This movie, I can take my kids to. There's no movies that they need to watch before this movie or TV shows. I don't need to set them up to really enjoy it. I can just walk into the theater and we can enjoy this movie as what it is and walk away. And as a standalone start to what I hope will be a very big and successful franchise, this movie knocks it out of the park for me. And without spoilers, the dog is great. It's an important part of the movie, but I can see a cut of this movie existing without Crypto.
I think it borders on there being too much. It definitely borders on being too much.
It borders, but it never goes over that line.
I would say it tap dances that line hard.
It tap dances it. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. The good thing about it is that it's a cute dog and it's interesting the way the story fits in. But I do feel like I'm just not sure how many times he should save Superman in one movie.
Oh, he did save Superman a couple times. But to be fair, every time he saved, he was called to save him. It wasn't like he just came out of nowhere.
It was almost annoying how hard it was to get the dog to save him.
Yeah, the dog does not listen.
Right. So it was almost like I kind of expected the dog to have some instincts to do things.
Yeah.
It was almost an accident. So to me, he was more annoying because of how chaotic he was.
I mean, yeah, he is an untrained dog with superpowers. That's exactly what you're getting in this movie. You're getting an untrained shelter dog who loves you, but is going to tear your couch up, and he happens to also have super strength and flight.
Yeah, he literally says at one point, and this is a very small spoiler, he literally says at one point, I had to bring the dog with me so it wouldn't kill all of the cows at my parents' house farm.
He had to bring the dog because the dog would eat all the cows.
I was like, my Lord.
That's funny.
So, best superhero movie for me since the Snyder Cut came out. Okay?
Yeah, I agree with that.
100% definitely is. If you're not counting the Snyder Cut, it's the best superhero movie since the final Avengers movie.
Since Endgame.
Since Endgame.
Yeah, but didn't you just say you liked Wolverine more?
I don't think of that as a superhero movie. It doesn't really count, in my opinion. It's like a funny.
It's a comedy, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying because it feels like almost like a parody of a superhero movie.
Yes. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It feels like Ryan Reynolds is like, I want to make the ultimate spoof movie of all time about superheroes and make everyone believe that this is a superhero film when actually I'm making fun of them.
Right. And I'm not even sure Deadpool thinks he's a superhero, if we're being fair.
Right. I remember watching the first Deadpool, and when Gina Carano comes down with that 3-point contact, and she's like, oh, the superhero fall. Yes.
Right, exactly.
It's gotta be hurting your knees, though, right? Even in that same movie, it's like, wait, guys, we need a third act where 2 CGI monstrosities fight each other. I mean, like, he really does just rag on superhero movies the entire time.
100%.
People would say, what's better, this or Man of Steel? It's not possible to compare those movies.
They're two totally different movies.
They're so different.
Yeah.
Like people say it's apples and oranges. It's not even apples and oranges because those are both sweet fruits. This is like This is watermelon versus mashed potatoes. Like,
Yeah, but
potato or watermelon. Yeah, they're both good foods.
but you like them. Yeah.
But there's no way to compare them.
David Corenswet in this Superman movie is chocolate cake, and Man of Steel is, a ribeye. It's kind of I love them both a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
So
maybe a little too much.
right, I liked both the things. Yeah.
So let's just jump in the spoiler alert. So Future Brian, ready? Spoiler tag.
Spoiler alert.
Future Brian, asshole editor, is just put the spoilers up. So now listen, if you're seeing the blinking light and you just came in and you don't want to be spoiled, get the fuck out. Get out of here. Come back later or not. I don't care where you go. But we're going to talk about spoilers. No hold barred. We're not going to hold back anything. This is two bros having a conversation about a movie they just saw. And if you don't want to hear something that's going to affect your entertainment value when you watch this movie, then get out. Get the fuck out right now. But listen, please hit the like button on the way out. Okay.
Before you leave.
Right before you leave, if you just hit the like button and all right, dude, spoilers. The movie starts right in the middle of the action. It literally says, like, it's been 300 years since metahumans came here. 30 years ago, we got the strongest metahuman, which is Superman. And now he just fought with the hammer of Baravia. Dude kicked his ass. He's broken, bleeding.
He lost his first battle.
Yeah, lost his first fight. Barely made it to the general vicinity of where the Fortress of Solitude is. That was him running away from a fight that he was probably going to be killed in. And he goes to the fortress, and it was all a setup because Lex is trying to find the fortress. And so the engineer, we didn't talk about this non-spoiler, but the engineer was great.
I think it was okay not to talk about that character.
Okay. The engineer was great, and she's there basically tracking him. She wants to know where his fortress is.
She's basically Lex Luthor's henchman. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we got enough of who the hell she is. There is a very light tampering of how Lex Luthor used her, but I don't know where she comes from or how she's connected to Luthor and why she's loyal to him.
Well, and what's interesting is while Ultraman is sort of this brainless idiot who just does whatever Lex tells him, this character is not brainless. She's actually intelligent.
But she believes in what he's doing.
But
I don't think
she believes in Lex.
Convey to us why she believes that.
There was this moment where they find the fortress, but it sinks, and she's shocked. She's like, "Okay, it went down." And she's like, "I can drill in." And he's like, "Angela, we're not going to make decisions based on your emotions right now. Get back to base."
Right.
And the fact that he uses her first name there
Whole time,
and so like they're friendly, like they know each other, and she listens to him.
or at least one way to the other. I'm not sure.
Well, also, she didn't die. She was still alive.
Right.
And
that was intentional.
Lex made a point of saying, like, go get her. Other
It
people.
was intentional.
So other people around him are very, what's the word?
It's not the last we'll see of her.
No, it's not. But other people around Lex are very disposable.
Yeah.
But Angela is not.
Well, it's obvious why she's not. I mean, she's literally the key to everything he's accomplished so far.
Right.
Apparently, that's what I got from it was she's basically the technology that got him where he's at.
I guess maybe
Because he used her to create the clone based on a hair from.
No, they never established that she fell into the hair.
Yeah, no, she didn't find the hair, but she's able to create based on her whatever she imagines.
No, but not DNA. The clone that he made had nothing to do with her.
I thought that he said that she had to do with the clone.
No.
Okay.
When he was talking to the government, he did brag that he replaced her blood with nanites, and now she could just sort of make whatever she wants. By the way, I think it's funny that the multi-billion-dollar clone of Superman with all this incredible power is basically being used to turn a light on and off.
Oh,
in that meeting, he's like, light on, and you light off, and they finally show it, and it's just Ultraman sitting there flipping the light switch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's funny. So that character, though, she does find the fortress, and she comes back. And I thought it was a really cool moment, which I immediately knew, by the way, that Ultraman was a clone of David when the fortress came up. Okay.
Why did you know that?
Because the only reason the fortress works is whenever Superman's in vicinity.
Right.
So Ultraman, when they roll up and it comes up, everyone's like, "Oh, good job, Lex." Lex knew the whole time that it was going to come up because he had a clone of Superman.
Right. I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Right.
I would say if they were trying to keep Ultraman secret, I'm not sure why. I mean, they needed to because it was a twist, but
well, I think Lex is keeping him secret so that so that Superman doesn't know that it's Superman.
Well, it's the one character. Well, I mean, it was the big reveal,
right?
But I think no one was surprised when it was a clone of
no one.
Superman.
I like the way he played the clone too. He played him like sort of a dumb, bizarro version of Superman, which is fine. Yeah. Okay, so they find the fortress. They find the recordings. Now, here's the controversial part for sure. And if they really did change his origins, and Krypton sent their kids, including Supergirl, by the way, because Supergirl was also sent from Krypton by her father, Superman's Clark's uncle. This is how it works in the comics, and I'm pretty sure it's how it works here. The reason why Supergirl looks younger than Clark, but acts older, is because she was actually sent. She's actually chronologically older. She was sent as a teenager in the pod. So when she was a teenager, when Krypton was exploding, and Jorah's brother listened to him, and they also prepared a pod for their teen daughter and sent her. Well, now Kal-El and Supergirl, Kara, both their pods are on the way to Earth for the same purpose. Kara's pod, though, gets caught in a rotational thing where she is basically floating around in stasis for 30 years. So Superman gets to Earth and grows up and becomes older than Kara, because then Kara lands, and Kara is still technically a teen because she's been in stasis. If they did change the origin story where both these characters were sent from a dying planet to conquer Earth, that's stupid. It's
really stupid. I was really disappointed.
I don't think that's the case, though.
I'm worried that it is the case, and the reason why is because he wanted Superman to have this transformation, in which he did transform from being a guy who was, it made him feel better that his birth parents, that life, to what we eventually get where he's actually now happy because of his adopted parents.
Well, also you're good because you were commanded to do good. And now it's like, no, I'm good because I'm good.
Right.
The choice he's making is to be good. It's his own choice.
So I don't believe they're going to change that. I mean, if you do that, now you're changing the entire fabric of who the character has transformed into.
No, the character can still make that transformation, and it can still be revealed later on that once again, that entire message is being taken out of context. We know there's still data missing from that message. And we also know that the engineer pulled that message from the system.
They made it very clear on at least 3 different occasions in this movie that was an accurate message, not only by Lex, only by the engineer, but by translators also.
Yes, what they're saying is correct, but we don't know the proper hold up. What's the right word here? Help me out, Shane. What's it called? It's like,
not sure what you're trying to say.
Like the order of which the words are supposed to be going, like fucking shit. There's a better word for this. Okay, that's it. The words are correct, right? The words are not fabricated. They're not AI. They're not, made up. But we don't know the correct order of all these words. We don't know how much the message was edited. It's obvious that there's still parts of the message missing. They didn't get the whole message. Well, why can she get that part but not the other part? Did she leave parts out? So you have these 2 parts of the message, but what did she leave out, and in which order do those go?
Did they say she left out?
When they show the message, there's all this weird gobbledygook in between the first 2 sections. I believe that she pulled a bunch of stuff on it. She, fixed the message so that we can get the whole message. I think that it's going to be revealed that she purposely left some context out to paint it in the worst possible light.
What would be the point?
Well, what would be the point for Lex? I mean, Lex got the message before he gave it to the press.
What would be the point?
To make Superman look bad.
No, he says he's in his own conversation outside of the press, and he's like, I was shocked to learn that that's actually what happened. I went in there to get information to jack Superman up. As it turns out, it was already there. And he was talking to one of his underlings. There's no point for him to lie.
No. That the tools were there. That's what he was saying. So what about this? Let's Shane, watch this. Ready? What if I sent you a voicemail? All right. In the voicemail, I was like, Shane, you son of a bitch. I'm going to murder your entire family. And then I'm going to steal your comic collection and light it on fire. I'm just kidding, bro. You know I'm playing with you. But I left out that last part.
I don't think that's what happened. And I'll be honest with you. They didn't even indicate to us that there was still missing parts to the message.
I think that
guessing on that.
If Lex got this tool and all he has to do is omit a few words.
But he did not. Okay. This would be a huge problem in the storytelling. If indeed he omitted stuff intentionally, but yet didn't say that when he was talking to his underlings, there's no point in lying to them about
wait. In lying? No, you see, he said he got exactly what he needed to take down Superman.
No, that's not what he said. He said, who would have guessed that, it was already there for him and he didn't have to make anything up.
Right. I mean, it's the same words. We're using the same words to say the same thing.
But you're trying to say there's like some other element to it. Like there's something we didn't see or something. If that is not how storytelling should be done.
No. I'm saying that he got a message that he sees as an easy tool to take down Superman, right?
Well, he did. That's what he feels. Yeah, because
that's what he says.
Because of the truth.
So, and all you have to do is just not give the entire thing to the press.
There's no point in him lying to his underling. You may have missed that part.
Well, another thing, like there was no part in that message where it said like to start a harem, right?
It did. It apparently did.
Right? It's to spread his
to do. Get lots of wives.
Get lots of wives. Right. Which, by the way, I found it really funny. The very first thing Guy Gardner asked him was not if the message was real, but bro, you got a harem?
Yeah. I'll just put a final point on it here. When Lex Luthor, and this is the reason why it solidifies it to me, because the guy tells him, he goes, "Oh man, you really got him good," and he's like, "I didn't have to. It was already there." So if that's not the case, then it doesn't really make any sense.
I think there's something about the message that doesn't play correctly.
It's gonna stick.
Why would they make Krypton an antagonist?
Because because then you can transform your character. So,
but doesn't that make Zod pointless? Are we never going to see Zod in this universe?
I don't think you're ever going to see Zod.
Oh, interesting.
You're probably going to get a Brainiac. You're probably going to get some other stuff.
Definitely getting a Brainiac.
We've already had 2 Zods. James Gunn isn't all about repeating that stuff.
Okay, so we just might never get a Zod. But we got Supergirl, and she was a teen when she left, which means she would have a lot more context about how Krypton was.
Right. Well, no. She would have the same amount of context.
No, he's a baby. She was a teenager. She spoke to her parents.
That's true. She would know the intention, I guess. That makes sense. Yeah. Listen, I don't know, but here's the thing is you got to give yourself an out. So, James, if you're going to do that, if you're going to switch up the story, because people are going to be pissed about this. The true Superman fans are going to be like, this is bullshit. Okay? The Kryptonians did not send him there to like conquer Earth.
Well, the Kryptonians didn't send anyone anywhere. It was all Jor-El. Jor-El.
He's a Kryptonian, bro.
No. What I'm saying is his father, though, against the wishes of Krypton.
I didn't mean all of Kryptonian. I said, I meant his father.
Yeah, in every version of Krypton, though, they don't believe that the planet's going to explode. They don't believe what Jor-El's saying. Jor-El sends his son on a Hail Mary, basically.
Also, the Kryptonians had spread out throughout the galaxy, right? And had conquered a lot of worlds.
Well, at one point, they colonized not a lot of worlds, only a couple. Because
it was quite a few.
Supergirl was from another sister planet of Krypton that also got caught in the explosion.
So it's possible that he's reading something into it that might be like, maybe what they're saying is like, look, we're not sending you down there to get your butt kicked. You need, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But they made it very clear. They said it in multiple times. And I'm not sure why James Gunn would have it said 3 times in the movie if he didn't intend it to be true. It seems it'd be weird to do that.
I've always wondered why the Kryptonians would have ever stayed on Krypton if once they realized that a yellow sun gives them godlike powers. Why would they? Yeah. Why would they ever stay in that lifeless planet?
They don't explain that.
They never explain it. So maybe you have to like it's so convenient that all the Kryptonians, most of the Kryptonians, just died.
Well, they're a plot device, bro.
Right.
I mean, when you really look at it, they're a way to get Superman to Earth. I mean, they don't need to contemplate their own superpower.
Because think about in a timeline where Krypton didn't explode, you have all these millions of effectively gods, right?
Oh, that's the movie J.J. Abrams wanted to make.
Right. Like they could do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like, and yet they decide to stay on this cold, lifeless planet. Like, I don't.
Right. Yeah. I will say about this movie, just one thing is, I do think this is definitely my kids. I took my boys to see this movie, and they don't like to go to the movies. They fought me on this one, but I'm like, y'all are going to see this one. They just don't like to go.
It's Superman.
Streaming is the answer to everything for these kids, but they don't typically like the movies. They just don't enjoy it for whatever reason. They love this movie.
Right.
They both like this movie, and guess what? A new generation has found their Superman. And I do believe this is a Gen Z Superman.
Oh, 100%. He's got the hair, bro. He's got the look. He's confident,
look,
but also vulnerable. Right.
The social media. He is definitely a sensitive Superman, but he's also young Superman. So I get that. But he's the Gen Z Superman for sure.
For sure. Okay. Another spoilery point is that Mr. Terrific scene where Lois convinces basically the Justice Gang, Mr. Terrific specifically. By the way, Justice Gang is a working title. Only guy likes that. I thought that was funny. I thought it was really funny. And at the end, when Metamorpho, he's like, they're like, you should join our group. And Guy Gardner is like, nah, dog, I don't want your weird face being a part of this group. He's like, oh, the Justice League, that's a cool name. He goes, you're in. You can join the group. Because he needs the last vote to get the name.
Yeah. Do you know who's playing Metamorpho?
Yeah, Anthony Corrigan, right?
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's great. Do you know he's hairless in real life? He has no hair.
Yeah, that's the way he is, right?
It's like some kind of, he has like some kind of like affliction where he just has no hair. He has no eyebrows, no nothing.
I love him in Barry so much.
He's so good in Barry, bro. He's the best.
So it's almost a shame that he's in makeup,
right?
For this role, because honestly, I mean, I think he's just a weird looking dude.
Well, if they go the route of the comics, then eventually they're gonna have to make a version of him that is more human looking.
Yes,
and I'm telling you right now, the easiest way to do that is to take the makeup off of Anthony and let him just be himself.
He looks like the human version of him would look what he looks like.
Yeah, you know what? They follow the comics, then the character is constantly trying to find a way to get rid of his powers. He wants to go back to being human. There gets to this point where there's a sort of a halfway point where he still has the powers. He also looks a little bit weird, but he looks way more human. And
perfect.
And it's so easy just to take the makeup off Anthony Kerrigan. Anthony Kerrigan, and just there you go. There's your Metamorpho.
He looks like an alien. So
he does. Yeah. So I really liked his character. I wanted to talk about him in the non-spoiler section, but it's impossible.
It is. Yeah, you can't.
So the only kryptonite that exists on the planet is the kryptonite that he can make via his powers.
Right.
And I find that very interesting. I found two things interesting. A, how much kryptonite affects the Superman. It is not like in the past, like past Supermans. Yeah, if they're touching it, it's a problem. But like, it seems like just him being in the general vicinity of this thing is literally killing him. Not taking his powers away, but like making him like it's killing. It's like radiation.
Well, I always wondered how that is possible because they lived on Krypton and they didn't die. They just didn't have superpowers. I always wondered how kryptonite kills Superman. Shouldn't it just take away his powers?
Well, I think it's because he left as a baby and he's been soaking up solar radiation for 30 years. He gets his powers from the sun.
Right.
So his body is effectively different than other Kryptonians. If a Kryptonian adult came here, I don't think they'd be as strong as Superman because they're not growing. He's been absorbing the sun for 30 years.
Fair, because, at least according to, Zod was just as powerful as Superman.
Well, yeah, so Superman 78 was different, but in the way they sort of play him in the comics was the reason, and in Man of Steel, was the reason why he was such a worthy adversary was not because he was stronger. It was because he was trained. He was military trained. From birth, his DNA was literally altered to make him a warrior. Superman was never a warrior. In fact, what makes Superman strong here is not his ability to throw a punch or his tactics, but because he's just the strongest thing in there is. So you take another person who is almost as strong as you are, and you put him up against this person. Superman's not a fighter. He literally doesn't know how to punch. He's not a boxer. And now you have this military trained guy who was bred for the purpose of war. He doesn't have to be as strong as Superman. He can be.
I get the analyzing and like trying to reason that through, but that's definitely not the way it's portrayed. Zod is just as strong as Superman.
Well, in 78, but not in the comics.
No, in Man of Steel too. As soon as he adapts to the environment of Earth, yeah, come on.
I don't think he is in 70. No, I don't think he is in Man of Steel, actually. I think in Man of Steel, yeah, it takes him a while to adapt, but once he adapts, he has the same power set, but it seems like he gets bodied a little bit by Henry Cavill's Superman. Even though he's a better fighter, he still gets bodied. I think Superman in that movie was supposed to be stronger, but not as good at it at the job.
Well, they didn't do a very good job of giving that.
Blame that on Snyder, bro. Okay, so what were we saying? Oh, I'm not sure how we got on this topic. Oh my God, we got so far. Oh, the kryptonite. That's right.
Yeah.
So there's no kryptonite on the planet anymore. Like they made it clear.
That.
Yes.
I like that because there should be no kryptonite on Earth. You want to know why? Because Krypton is in another galaxy.
It's so far away, guys.
It's so far away that when it blew up, chunks couldn't come to our galaxy.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. More than likely. I guess you could say Oumuamua eventually came here from another outside of our galaxy.
Right.
But, I mean, the odds.
Well, it's one thing I liked about Man of Steel was the way they got Krypton in Man of Steel was from the world engines. It didn't come from meteorites.
Yes, which is the correct way to do it.
It was the Kryptonians from the Phantom Zone brought the world engines here, and the world engines had Krypton in it because they were trying to terraform the planet.
That made sense.
Makes complete sense.
What happens in Superman Returns, not what happens in Superman 78.
Yeah, there should not be that much kryptonite on this planet.
No.
Which I like that. I like that it's not here. I found it very interesting. Anthony Kerrigan really played the character well. He was almost a coward because he was so worried about his son's life, that he didn't want to rock the boat. And he only turned around and helped Superman when he realized that Lex wasn't going to honor their agreement.
Right.
When he saw Lex flippantly kill that guy, which was shocking. Holy shit.
I liked it.
I liked it too because it woke me up. It literally woke me up. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, no, this is a bad guy. Yeah. This is not an Elon Musk, mustache whirling who isn't going to like really drop the hammer at the very when it comes. No, this guy will flippantly murder you because he doesn't value you as a person. He doesn't value your life. He doesn't value anything that doesn't assist him in his goal.
Right.
And I found it very interesting when he was walking away. He goes, "I'll just find someone else you care about."
Right.
Holy shit.
How about that? Clark Kent. And I loved that he didn't know. I love that he didn't know who he was.
Right.
That was great. I think in other versions, he knew who they were. In Batman v Superman, Lex Luthor knows who his mom is.
One of my biggest criticisms of Batman versus Superman was that he knew who Superman was. It pissed me off.
It shouldn't have been that way.
Guy, I'm going to die on this hill. The worst, and this is after years of contemplating this. The worst Lex Luthor was BVS Lex Luthor.
And it's a shame because I really like Jesse Eisenberg.
I like him a lot too. Yeah.
I like him in everything he's in. I wanted to like him in that movie, and there's an element to him that I do like. I like his sinisterness. I like how he plays, he plays off the superheroes, but the character just wasn't right. He wasn't Lex Luthor.
No. So he does help him. So Man Marvel helps him, and I love the way he helped him. I can't make a sun. I can't make sunlight, but maybe I can make what a sun is made of.
Yeah.
And
And I'm like, oh, I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to make a bomb.
he's gonna make a fucking bomb, right? Because what is it with sun? It's a hydrogen bomb, essentially.
Oh, before you get into that scene, leading up to that scene, of course, you've got Lois and Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. I think wrestling.
That was
Mr.
so
Terrific.
rad. It was so rad, bro.
That was the best scene in the whole movie.
Dude, when he puts the force field on and you have the
Yep.
music and he has his music playing, puts the force, he goes,
James
oh
Gunn.
my God, it was so good.
James Gunn is so good with music.
So good.
With the use of music
Yeah.
and editing. And if I would criticize this movie in the strongest way possible, is that he did not utilize that enough
Right.
in this movie.
Well, there's going to be people
He-
saying that. I'm so glad there wasn't like a bunch of 70s soundtracks and all that. I'm like,
the hell are you talking about?
because there are people that hate James Gunn and they hate his style and everything about him.
I don't know how you could hate his style. I don't know how you could hate that
This
style.
moment, that moment when they land, and dude, Lois, her reaction was perfect. She's
That
like,
was
"Oh my,
great.
what the fuck?" That
was great.
And then
This was-
when it comes down, she's like, "Holy shit!" Because when she said "Holy shit," in my head, I was saying "Holy shit."
Well, if you remember Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, the first one, where Peter puts on the music and he goes and he basically is in this gunfight, right, with the music on. That's what this is. It's like a recreation of that. The music isn't quite as good, but it really it's a good song. And it
Yeah, it's
just
fun. and
Mr.
the technology,
Terrific
and he has the T spheres, and then just like he's like basically it looks like he's using magic, but it's all tech. It's so rad. When you remember that, I think it's Arthur C. Clarke says there comes to a point where technology is so advanced it's indistinguishable from magic. Where we see that with Mr. Terrific. His technology is so clever and advanced, and the way he utilizes it, that it almost looks like magic because he's controlling these tiny little spheres that are effectively.
Yeah.
It's like using superpowers. He's not by the way, he's not superpowered. He's just a smart rich guy.
Right. And he's almost like Yondu with his arrow. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Super clever, awesome. I had a really good time. That scene was so good.
Yeah.
Well, so Metamorpho starts creating a sun. I love the way they played it. He was sort of like he knows what the sun's made out of, but he's also a little apprehensive about doing it. And he's like, and he's basically puts together like a pseudo sun that's just powered enough to sort of heal Superman enough.
Right.
And Superman gets over there, gets the baby. I have a criticism. The anti-negative proton stream that was
Yes.
flowing to the black hole. I don't really understand how any of that shit works. I'm sorry to curse here, guys, but like, it looks like Minecraft and I don't understand it.
Well, and here's what makes it worse is that basically Mr. Terrific says, if we hit that, it'll destroy us or something like that, or it's going to cause something really bad to happen. And then Superman spends like the next 10 minutes in it.
Yeah.
With a baby that he's trying to hold on to. And it's like a little bit unbelievable and also a little bit surprising that those humans in armor could affect him so much. Could hold him down.
Oh, the Raptors?
And then they did say get him while he's weak. But even if he's weak, those guys shouldn't be able to.
Well, no, yeah, but so those characters are basically Iron Man. Like they're wearing Iron Man suits.
I don't think they did a good job of explaining that.
No, they didn't. I that's another criticism I have. So the Raptors are actually really cool. They're basically Iron Man. Like it's Lex Luthor's Legion of Iron Man, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So imagine if 400 Iron Men, Tony Stark Iron Men showed up. Like you affect
That would be tough.
Yeah, there should be a fight there, even against Superman.
Yeah.
That's what Raptors are supposed to be. They're
He
supposed to be Iron Man.
dispatches of them so easily later. That really made me feel like.
Oh yeah, because it's broad daylight.
Yeah.
He is literally supercharged. He's a supercharged Superman. He's no longer been sitting in the dark. And so the Superman we got in that dimension, that little sun was just enough to get him healthy. Not enough to actually, because remember, after he left there, he has to go spend a few days at home sleeping.
True.
He was much weaker at that moment. I thought I didn't like the pocket dimension stuff. I didn't really understand it. I liked Metamorpho a lot. I like the way they set him up. Everything about that's good. I just don't understand the pocket dimension. It was like this weird added antagonist in the movie in some way.
It felt like a plot device to create a serious world-ending event for the end of the movie. You know,
but Lex can turn it off at any moment.
Which I did not like that.
Right.
I didn't like that he had but he was unwilling to do it.
Yeah, they chose them. We'll let it run until we'll turn it off. You know, when it gets to a city I care about.
Yeah, that was a little bit.
I mean, that's sort of Lex Luthor, though. Like, Lex Luthor will sink an entire western seaboard for some better property, right?
I don't think it was, which, by the way, property was involved again.
Again!
In this.
That's another criticism. Can we stop with the fucking property?
but he was such a good Lex Luthor and everywhere else. I almost look at it as a feather in the cap.
Yeah, it was almost like a nod to Gene Hackman and Kevin Spacey. Right.
So I was kind of okay with that, but yeah.
Okay, so they get out of the pocket dimension and they go home to the Ma and Pa Kent farm. And
I got criticism here.
I do too. Here's a plus. Ma and Pa Kent are the most 909 realistic farmers I've ever seen portrayed for these two characters. But they're also sort of like too much country dumpkin.
Yeah, I would say
Bumpkin.
They struck me as almost not capable of running a farm.
Almost, right.
Almost like a little too much. You know, you're almost
too country bumpkin, right?
A little, yeah, to the point where you could kind of almost barely understand what they were saying. And it's like,
I'll get your boots.
Have you been to Kansas?
Right.
You know, I mean, so a little too far there.
I mean, but the farm they're running, though, is a small, modern farm. This is not the big farm they had in, like, all the other Kent farms. I mean, that's
not the point. They just kind of sound stupid.
They do sound a little stupid,
Yeah, and
his dad didn't really give him anything inspiring. He didn't really give him anything.
A little bit. He gave him a little speech.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, we're here to support you. Like, we love you. But we're not here to tell you who you are. We're here to help you find out who you are.
Well, that was true, but he did say a parent can't tell you who you are. A parent can only help you, give you the tools to help you figure it out yourself. So don't let, and basically told him, he's like, all the good that you do is who you are, not somebody telling you that you're supposed to be good or bad.
I guess that was all good.
Which was good.
They were a little too country, if I had to break it down. Yeah, and I felt a little sorry for Ma Kent when she's like, she has the Clark, and she's like, she just keeps trying to call Clark, and Clark's too busy for her. I felt a little bad for them.
Well, it was weird.
Pa wants to say hi.
It was weird. Like, look, Jonathan has a heart attack. Or dies somehow.
Oh, by the way, this is the first Jonathan that I believe will have a heart attack.
Right.
Other Jonathans are all fit, they're all like fit country guys, healthy. This Jonathan likes his pie too much, like for sure.
Well, and the other thing is I don't understand why they made him a mush. We call him a mush. It was super emotional. One of the things that I heard people criticize about the movie is that all the men are crying or emotional through the entire thing.
That's not true.
And not all of them are, but Lex cries, Superman cries, Pa Kent cries. There are a lot of super emotional dudes in this movie.
I mean, you're allowed to be emotional when lives are on the line, when you're with someone that you're vulnerable with. Like, bro, I'm not going to be emotional on camera. Right. But like, I might be emotional with you, my brother, my best friend. My mask is off with you. And when we're witnessing these moments in the movie, we're witnessing moments that aren't being captured on camera. It's Pa Kent and his only adopted son on his farm, private. He's allowed to be emotional. In fact,
I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying the choice to do that, whereas none of the women are emotional.
And let me tell you something. If someone took my dog, the amount of emotion you're going to get from me is intense. Criminal even. So people complaining that like they took his dog. Why did you get mad at her? But you clearly don't have dogs. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the thing. also, I criticize that because it's not his dog. It's his cousin's dog.
Yeah, but he still likes the stupid thing. He makes it
I
clear.
get it, but to the point of losing your mind
Well,
a little bit.
It was built up. It was built up. He was pushing his buttons for a long time, and then he finally goes back to his fortress, finds out that all of his robots that are his friends are dead, or destroyed, and his dog is gone. And he knows who has it. I mean, dude, it's insane to believe anyone would respond that way.
No, I get him being upset, but I'm just saying he was a little more upset over the dog. And maybe you're right. Maybe it was other things. But when he's so flippant about the dog later, I thought the dog thing was just a very interesting, I don't know if you want to talk about it at all, but, the whole crypto thing and not being his dog and being his cousin's dog. And she comes back for him at the end. And it really, her coming back to get the dog took away from me.
Well, no, but she came back to get the dog, but then left it there again.
No, the dog left with her.
No, it left in that first scene, and then there's some credits, and then you see another scene where they're on the moon together.
And that confused me. At the end credit scene, did that happen earlier in the movie? Was that later? I wasn't sure.
I think she just left it again. I think she wants to come back, see her dog, and then go back to partying. She's as the robot says, she's irresponsible.
It's just I don't understand. I mean, and maybe part of it is
the dog is like sitting on his chest. The dog is clearly like it looks at Superman as its owner, not just its adoptive, foster situation or whatever.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm conflicted on the whole thing. I just feel like there was too much dog. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I like the dog so much. Tell me it.
I know, and for people who like dogs, it's going to go across really well.
The Ultraman scene. Speaking of the dog, the Ultraman scene when he's getting his ass handed to him by Lex. Yeah. Lex is basically controlling Ultraman. And
by the way, I didn't like that either. I didn't like that he had all of these. He could figure out. So you're telling me that Superman, when he fights, only fights a certain way? He studied Superman for all these 3 years, apparently 3 years, and saw all of his fights and knew when he was going to make a move and how he was going to do it. And he learned how to counter it. I thought that was unbelievable.
I mean, Lex is a genius, and he got a team of geniuses in there.
But Superman isn't a karate guy.
Well,
they don't have moves.
Yeah, I don't think.
You know what I mean?
Again, I don't think Superman is a good fighter. What makes Superman is his strength. I think you take a Superman and you put him up against.
That's my point.
Another equally powered being. Superman gets his ass handed to him.
Well, that's my point. How does he figure out these counter moves to Superman when Superman doesn't have a fighting style? That's what I'm saying.
I think it's just Superman's style in general. I think you have someone who's smarter. He
said specifically he'd been studying Superman's fighting for years and knew exactly how he would do every move. And I found that a little bit unbelievable, basically for what you said, because Superman doesn't have a fighting style. How did he figure out Superman's fighting style?
Well, I mean, it makes sense though, the way he beats Engineer and Ultraman when all that stuff is on him is he does something that Superman would never do. He flies as super high in the air and then comes down. And they don't realize till it's almost too late what he's doing. Because that's a completely different opposite move than what Superman has done in the past.
How do we know that?
Because they say that. They don't know what's happening until right before they land.
Right. But we get left in the dark on that. So they may not understand it, but I wasn't sure what he was doing. Did it become painful? I thought, honestly, when he went up to space, I'm like, oh, he's going to burn it off in re-entry. That's what I was thinking.
I sort of thought that too.
And then all of a sudden, he was the only one protected from hitting the ground.
Well, I think his initial plan was to do burn up and re-entry, right?
What's that?
So I think the initial plan was, I don't know where I am. I can only go in a direction, so I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up as high as I can and burn this shit off. And then when she starts encapsulating his entire body, is when he just starts going, okay, well, now I'm going to go down. I can only go up or down. That's the only two directions I can go.
Right, but they made it seem like he figured out that he's the only one, or at least Luthor figured out he was the only one that survived if he hit the ground. So it just a little confusion. Listen, it's not a perfect movie. Let me tell you why this movie's good. In my opinion. The movie's good because it's fun, because there's a lot of heart, and I laughed. I enjoyed watching it.
I did too.
Right. And it was a good in that way. but there are problems in it.
Sure.
Like any movie's going to have that are mostly forgettable when you watch it. It doesn't distract you.
Right.
Only from going back and picking it apart now can I look at it and go, okay, there are these little things that don't make a lot of sense.
Right.
But one thing I absolutely loved was that Peacemaker is in this movie.
I didn't like
I love Peacemaker.
I mean, I liked that he was in the movie, but I hate all the questions I have now about the character. How is he in this movie?
Yeah.
How is Rick Flag in this movie?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with them just being in it. Like, I'm okay if you just tell me, I don't give a shit. They're just part of this universe now. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, in my
if
mind,
James Gunn's
I'm
like,
okay
look,
with
guys,
that.
there's no canonical way to do this. I'm just
No.
gonna tell you right now, they're just here. All right, I got it. All right, go.
Well, in all fairness, Peacemaker didn't necessarily give us any information from his TV show. He just acted like Peacemaker acts.
Right.
So it very easily could be just Peacemaker, not necessarily the one fighting a bunch of butterflies.
Right, that's true. And maybe it's maybe but that is definitely implying a multiverse in which Henry Cavill exists.
Correct.
Right, like in a big way. Way. It's like really connected. I thought it was, and that was a callback. It was such a callback to the
great.
Peacemaker when he's like, yeah, so Superman, he has a poop fetish. He really likes poop. And it's because Peacemaker is not very bright, and he's chronically online, and he keeps saying hashtags that say super shit. So he's literally this is classic Peacemaker, and it's a callback to a TV
Super
show.
shit comes from Lex Luthor,
Right.
and his monkeys.
And his monkeys, his troll farm.
So what he's been reading, he's been in this universe all along, bro.
That's implying that he's been here the whole time.
We never do see Superman, by the way.
Yeah, but we saw Aquaman and the Flash.
Maybe that version of Aquaman is also in this universe.
I don't
And
like
it wasn't the same one from the other universe.
too much. My head's hurting. Stop it. All right.
right.
Anyways, I like the Peacemaker cameo too. That was cool.
That was great. Some other people we didn't talk about. This is really actually pretty cool. Alan Tudyk plays
Robot.
Gary, or Robot number 4.
Yeah, that was a great line. He's like, you can give me a name. He goes, well, 4's a name. And he goes, Gary's also a name.
Right. And if you found yourself looking at Jor-El going, is that Bradley Cooper? You'd be right. It was Bradley Cooper. Michael Rooker is in this movie. Of course, that's Yondu.
Of course he is. He's in every James Gunn movie. Every one.
He plays Superman Robot number 1.
Of course.
Who else is in this movie that is worth mentioning here?
Tessmacher. We haven't talked about Tessmacher yet.
Well, I mean, she plays a key role, but the actress is nobody special.
No one's special, but it was a cool role. So all those selfies she was taking, because she's a vapid Instagram whore, they actually have a purpose. She was purposely building an escape hatch from Lex by posing with these stupid selfies, so the smartest guy on the planet wasn't noticing that because he has so much hubris that she's actually purposely taking selfies with his secret plans behind her.
So he was brought down by the vapidness.
It's actually sort of brilliant.
Christopher Reeve, his son, is in this movie.
His son his son has a cameo.
Will Reeve plays the on-the-ground reporter. There's another one in here I wanted to mention. There's so many people in this movie, dude. Michael Rosenbaum is in this movie.
As a robot.
As Raptor Guard number 1.
Oh, Raptor Guard, that's right, yeah.
Yep. And that's probably all the big ones.
Yeah, so...
And of course, you got the Millie Alcock is playing.
Yeah, and Millie Alcock looked great when she landed. I like that she was sort of a lush. That's very comics accurate. And because they're adopting the Woman of Tomorrow comic book, then it's perfect. One good thing about this movie is the casting is perfect. I have no problem with a single person in this movie cast.
That's a good point. I do. And don't forget also, Otis is in this movie. So the black guy, the big black guy, is Otis. So if you remember Otis from Superman 1978, Luthor's sidekick, the idiot sidekick, that character is back.
Oh, that's who that is?
That's who that is.
Right. Oh, that's the guy who says safety first, people.
Right. He's the one who actually pulls the trigger on the...
Oh, super rad. You want to make a cool toy? The Lex, the command center ship thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was rad. Yeah, what criticisms do I have? What spoilery criticisms I have? I would say the pocket dimension. I think it must be connecting. Like either it's a very obvious plot device, or that technology is connected to future movies in some way.
I'm sure.
It must be. It did also look a lot like boom tube tech. And if you're a fan of the comics, some of the most famous comics of all time, in fact, specifically a couple of the ones that James Gunn admittedly were read in preparation for this movie, have to do with the new gods and the Thanos of this of the Superman universe, Darkseid, and they use a technology called boom tubes, and the boom tube technology is basically a teleporter, allows you to teleport like a Stargate instantly anywhere. And it's funny how this technology looked a lot like when it flashed, the light flashes, and the general shape of it sort of has the boom tube vibe to it.
Yeah.
I think it would be very interesting if we found out that Lex didn't invent the pocket universe tech and that he co-opted it from the New Gods.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, any other spoilers that would be good for you guys to know? I mean, Lois, something we didn't talk about. Lois and Superman are already together. She knows he's Superman. Just not sure how I feel about that.
I liked that the Daily Planet, they are elevated in this. I feel like all these characters, like they actually help take Lex down in a way that is very pro-journalism, which is good to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny at the end when Perry goes, "How long have they been dating?" And Jimmy's like, for a few months now. Like they already know. They know that Lois is seeing Superman, and they're just choosing to let her keep that secret, which is what you should be the case in a room full of investigative and journalists.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not sure how I feel about the whole thing. Like, you know, part of him having a secret identity is to protect the ones that he loves.
Well, no, I don't think Jimmy said that they know Clark is Superman.
I wasn't certain about that. I got the feeling now everybody else seems to know. The Justice gang knows.
The Guy Gardner thing. He's like, you know about the hypno glasses? And I love Lois' reaction.
You know he's Clark, right?
Like, if I didn't know, then you shouldn't be telling me.
Right.
Her reaction to Guy Gardner was so great.
Yeah. I love how she gives him a hard time about his haircut.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good moment. So, I mean, there's a lot more to this movie. We could talk about this movie for hours. Yeah. I like the Hall of Justice was cool. That's a precursor to the Justice League. I thought that was super rad. We did see Maxwell Lord briefly, which is played by James Gunn's brother. And he said something that was really funny. He goes, what do you say? Conservative, liberal, we can all, it doesn't matter what you are, we can all agree that Lex Luthor sucks.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's pretty much that's real.
Yeah.
So that's almost, I feel like almost that's James Gunn saying like, look, this is not made for any specific ideology. Like this movie is there for everyone.
We need to address that really quick. So a lot of people are trying to say this is like Superman's an immigrant and it's this whole like political immigrant thing. There is nothing woke about this movie
at all.
There's nothing political about this movie. And trust me, I tried to find it. So anytime I watch these movies, that's the first time my woke radar, my WODAR is like
your WODAR.
My WODAR is always going off. I'm like, I'm looking for it. If your females aren't believable ass kickers, then trust me, I'm gonna know.
Right.
And they are. Everybody in this movie is very believable. And there is an element of
by the way, Lois Lane doesn't throw a single punch. At no moment is Lois Lane fighting anyone or anything like that.
Not at all.
Like her superpower is journalism.
Right. She's literally just there.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't go get the spear for Superman, nothing like that. But I will say that there is an element of like, you know, Superman's an alien and, you know, we don't know what your intention is. But that's in other Superman stuff as well.
Yeah. Not political. In fact, I would say it's pragmatic for the government to be concerned about an alien with godlike abilities.
Especially if the message you're getting is, you know, create a harem so you can have offspring to rule the world. Right. Yeah, I could see being a little worried about that.
I could see like Rick Flag is like, hey man, I was like not gonna bother you, but then this whole message comes out where it says your parents sent you here to conquer us. Now we have to have a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, nothing about this is unbelievable. Nothing about it's political. I really dislike these, and I'm going to say it, I'll just say it, these fake right-wing grifters that are desperately trying to read anything they possibly claim, desperately trying to read political agenda into a movie that has no political agenda. It's dishonest, it's inauthentic, and it shows how much of a grifter you really are. And I called out some right wing, but there's some left wing guys that are really desperately trying to inject politics into this too.
Hey, Variety came out with it, an article on it. I'm like, what are you guys
promoting
doing?
this idea. They're trying to get James Gunn to commit to a politically charged Superman, and James Gunn's like, nah, dog, I'm not. This is for everyone.
And listen, James Gunn's politics are very open. He's not exactly hanging out with the people on the right.
Right.
So, but
he's a liberal, but I think he's smart enough. No, this is not for anyone. And the way his brother says it at the end, hey, liberal, conservative, we can all agree. Lex Luthor sucks.
Right. And that was fantastic. That's his political statement. And he's never been that way with any of his movies, and I appreciate that about him. And here's what I will say for me to leave it off on. I would say this is a really great thing that happened for DC, because I think that this movie is going to be very successful. I think it's going to make a lot of money. And I think for the first time, and we can say this with certainty, I think for the first time since Superman 2 in 1981, the studio is not going to be disappointed by their Superman movie.
And you're right.
I think it's going to be like that. And I think it's going to usher in a whole new golden era of DC movies, similar to what the MCU went through back when Iron Man started.
Right.
I do feel like that's going to happen for DC.
I think you're right. You're right. I think this is the golden. We are once again bringing back the golden age of DC movies. I think this is a great start. This is
the first. Actually, I think this will be DC's first golden age.
Oh yeah, I guess we never got a golden age. Yeah,
right. They've had some successful Batman movies. You've had successful Superman, but I don't think you've ever had a run of successful DC stuff. And I think it's coming.
I think you're totally right, and that's so exciting because this universe already feels so lived in already. I feel like I was already watching the third movie in a franchise.
That's what it feels like.
So like the next projects they're working on Lanterns, which is like the buddy cop Green Lantern, setup. Supergirl is already wrapped, so that's being edited right now. Lobo is in it, which is Aquaman, Jason Momoa, which I think is sort of hilarious. A Peacemaker comes out next month, right?
Can't wait for that.
So there is a lot of they're already moving forward. The DCU is in full drive mode. And this movie wasn't the movie that they needed in order to validate and greenlight projects they want to do. The projects are already happening. Like they're wrapping Green Lantern. They've wrapped Supergirl. They've wrapped Peacemaker. This movie doing well with families and with the general public, and we're going to talk about that real quick, is going to be good in the sense where it's going to give Warner Brothers the confidence they need to continually back or give that continuing support to James Gunn and Pete Safran.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, let's talk about this. Yeah, we got the Rotten Tomatoes for Superman. We got 82% on critics, which is good. It's certified fresh. More importantly, though, we have a 95% verified audience. Over 2,500 verified ratings. This is important because since they've started the verification is required before posting a review, and verified means that you bought a ticket and their ticket system is connected so they can tell whether you saw the movie or not.
Right.
So verified is not like a check mark. It's not like you verified your ID. You're verified that you went to see this movie. And you're leaving a review based on a ticket stub that you have for this film. This is the highest audience rating out of any other movie, 95%. That means that out of 100, for every 100 people that go to see this movie, 95 of them were happy. That's incredible.
So it's great. It's a really good sign. Good sign of things to come. Means they're going to go to the next one. And if it helps, my kids said, well, I can't wait for the next one to come out. They never say that.
That's true.
And kids are the key because they're the ones who are going to keep the movies alive. They're the ones who are going to buy tickets down the road. So we need to make sure that, Hollywood needs to make things that are going to make them want to go see it. And I think Gunn and Safran have done that here.